What's up everybody, Ben here, hope you guys are doing well. Today, we are on the cusp of starting the highly anticipated MLW World Series season finale. This season has been an exciting one for the league because of many reasons. One of my personal favorites is the budding of rising young talent in the league such as Jimmy Norp, Nick Saylor, and Brendan Jorgensen, just to name a few. And fortunately, this year we will get to see some of that young talent showcased in this season's championship, as this year's matchup is a delightful mixture of the league's veterans and rookies and rising stars. It pits one of the league's oldest and most dominant franchise against one of the newest expansion teams, one that was relatively unnoticed prior to this year. It is a matchup that I think fans as well as myself are excited to see, and on today's Wiffle Statement video, we are going to be deep diving into this matchup to discuss how they got here and what will be the keys and pitfalls to who will come out on top in this year's MLW Championship. The Great Lake Gators are a team that did not receive a lot of hype upon their entrance into the league back in 2019, and after going 2-13 and boasting a lineup that made the Cobras actually look like a stable squad in comparison, the Gators earned themselves a spot at the very bottom of the 2020 preseason power rankings. However, that would all change when the season got underway, as rookie players Chris Cheatham and Brendan Jorgensen would split pitching duties for a dominating season performance with a combined 1.12 ERA. The strong pitching would lead the Gators to a 5-1 record to start the season. However, they would have a rough second half, and after losing their last two series of the year, would limp into the playoffs with an 8-7 record, having been outscored 26-5 in their last two regular season matchups. In the NLDS, they would have to play the downtown Diamondbacks, who, led by Jimmy Norp, had been red hot and had clawed their way into the postseason after a dominant second half. Ironically, kind of the exact opposite journey of the Gators. Anyhow, the Diamondbacks, led by Norp's pitching, looked to keep that momentum going into the playoffs. However, they would run into the bats of Chris Cheatham, Brendan Jorgensen, and Brendan Zerlag, who would combine for 5 home runs and, led by the masterful pitching of Jorgensen, would sweep the series, not allowing a single run. In the NLCS, the Gators would face the number 1 seeded Eagles, who looked to bounce back from a disappointing ending to their 2019 World Series loss. Daniel Schultz's wild start to Game 1 would cost the Eagles the first game, but they would bounce back with a very well-deserved win in Game number 2. And so it would all come down to Game number 3, and the Gators would waste no time with an early 3-run home run from Jorgensen. Cheatham would come into the game to pitch and would throw 3 shutout innings to get the win and send the Gators to their first World Series. After one of the most disappointing seasons in Wildcats history in 2019, it was a big question of how they were going to bounce back in 2020. After picking up some young talent with Nick Saylor and following the lead of team captain Kyle Schultz, the Wildcats ended the regular season with a more than respectable 10-5 record. However, in the ALCS, they would face their old nemesis, the defending champions, Pacific Predators. This series was amazing till the very end. After the Predators took Game 1 with relative ease, the Wildcats would win an extra inning barn burner in Game 2. Then, in Game 3, they would exchange runs in the first inning. But in the second, the switch-hitting Nick Saylor would come through with a clutch 2 RBI single to give them a commanding 2-run lead. Also, can we talk about how low-key impressive this play was? That's a lot harder than it looks. Props. Back to the game. The Predators would try to rally in the third with a lead-off home run from Warda. At this point, you could kind of see the innings beginning to catch up with Kyle as he would load the bases with 2 outs, and the playoff chances for both teams would come down to a single at-bat, team captain versus team captain, as the Cats tried to hold on to a 1-run lead. Alright, so after all that, we are here today on the verge of crowning the MLW 2020 Championship. If we take a look at the matchup objectively, just based on record, seeding, and past success in league history, I think we would all agree that the Wildcats are strongly favored to take it all home this year. However, I would like to counter by saying that if we look at the matchup from the ground up, based on pure lineup, I don't think it's cut so straight and clear. As in every year past, the Wildcats will go as Kyle Schultz goes, and despite Nick Saylor having a respectable season from the rubber, I think it would be a stretch to call his pitching performance in 2020 anything above average. That being said, Kyle has been an absolute artist from the rubber this year. With 8 wins and only 1 loss, he has pitched to a 0.59 ERA. However, one big downside is that he is currently averaging 1.2 walks per inning. And when you're facing the Gators, whose offense has consisted of getting runners on with walks and bloop singles and then following it up with a big home run, those walks could prove brutal to Kyle if he wants to limit his innings and limit the damage. Fortunately for the Gators, they have 2 aces to choose from, and while I'm sure they will lead with Jorgensen, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Cheatham take 2 games of the series after the absolute clinic he put on versus the Eagles in the NLCS. Seeing this rotation in action, I honestly think is a part of the series that I am most excited for. It will be interesting to see how the Wildcats plan to get their offense going, as their offense is mostly based off the bat of Kyle Schultz. And while Saylor did have an impressive regular season, hitting .322 with 22 RBI, I don't think he has yet turned that regular season success into postseason success. There will definitely be a lot of pressure on Saylor to come up clutch this series, particularly if the Gators take the Predators strategy of pitching around Kyle just to attack the weaker heart of the lineup. That, on top of their ability to mix Cheatham and Jorgensen to throw batters off, could make it very difficult for the Cats to get into a rhythm at the dish. From an offensive side, I honestly am very confident in the Gators lineup, which may come as a surprise to some of you as they are not the most intimidating lineup on paper. No one in the batting lineup hit over 300 in the regular season, and Zerlag honestly had a pretty rough season, hitting .098 and slugging .118. However, they have had the amazing ability to heat up their bats when it matters the most. Like I mentioned earlier, the simple yet effective method of keeping your OBP high and being able to get that home run once a game can be absolutely devastating to the opposition. That being said, the Gators offense has been amazing as of late in wearing down ace pitching. 2 recent examples we have are of Jimmy Norp of the D-backs and Daniel Schultz for the Eagles, who the Gators were able to slowly grind runs off of and take home wins in both series. They do this by having smart, long drawn out at-bats and making clutch 2-out hits to keep innings alive and forcing the opposing pitcher to stay out there longer, putting more wear and tear on his arm. In a series like this, where the Wildcats are leaning nearly entirely on the arm of Kyle, this could prove devastating for the Cats, especially if there is one game which goes into extras. Anything that forces Kyle to take on unnecessary pitches is a big negative for the Cats in this series. Now, while it is very likely that the Cats come out looking red hot with an early win, I think it's inevitable that the Gators will wear them down and, bottom line, outlast the Wildcats. At the same time, I feel confident that the powerful duo of Cheatham and Jorgensen on the rubber will be enough to tag team games and limit runs in order to allow their scrappy batting lineup to do the rest of the work and pull out a win in the 2020 MLW World Series. A win that I think, if I am correct, will be based on not one player's effort, but a true team win in the case of the Great Lake Gators. So yes, guys, I'm picking the Gators to win it all in 2020, and yeah, I am just as surprised as you. I did not think that going into the season I would be saying that, but I am happy that I'm being able to say it now, and I'm excited to see how both of these teams perform in what is sure to be an electric finale. And there you have it, guys, my Wiffle Statement analysis for the 2020 MLW Championship. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and please be sure to tell me what your thoughts are down below. The same day this video drops, the first game of the series should already be live, so be sure to check that out, as well as MLW on social media to keep up with all the action from the championship. I'm going to throw all of those links down below in the description for you guys to check out at the end of this video, so please be sure to do that. Also, if you did happen to enjoy this video and want to see more Wiffle content from me, please drop a like and subscribe, and also click the bell to be notified when a new video drops. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter to fill all of your plastic cravings. All those links are going to be down below in the description of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Get out there and play some Wiff, and I'll be talking to you soon. Goodbye.